For a coaching staff, how satisfying was Saturday's win? For all the hard work you guys did.
Well, we've talked about it time and time again that that we needed as a team, as a defense, offense, and special teams to find a way to put a complete game together, find a way to eliminate mistakes that have plagued us, and find a way to win a game. And so it was exciting for our players to be able to get that done because of all the work that they've put in throughout the season, and then for that time they were able to be rewarded.
Beyond eliminating some mistakes, was there any particular aspect of your defense that was executed at a higher level Saturday than it had been previously?
Well, I think that was our big focus, was to eliminate mistakes, severely reduce the number of plays that we gave the offense, opportunities that we gave them to score. We had a defensive score. I think it'll probably go in the books as a special teams score, but that was gratifying because our defensive line and our defensive front, our defensive team has done a really good job on extra point and field goal rush, and for them to be able to go out and be rewarded for the work that they've put in all season long, and then have a guy have the awareness to be able to recover the fumble or recover the block and take it for a score at a point in the game where it really gave our team some momentum, a spark, and a drive to continue to make plays throughout the rest of the game.
When you look at Memphis, they started out 8-0. And during that stretch, they averaged 40-something points a game. Now they've lost 3 straight, averaging 22. What have been the differences that you've seen when you look at their offense?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're extremely talented, but as I've watched them, they've done things, and they played good teams as well, but they've done things, had turnovers. Opponents have been able to pressure the quarterback, different places. They've had breakdowns, even some on special teams. So they just kind of have suffered for the last few weeks, suffered some of the things that we've suffered from, all season.
Their quarterback, Paxton Lynch, 6'7" and 245 or something. When's the last time you faced a quarterback that big, and what are the biggest challenges he presents for your defense?
Well, even beyond his size, he's a talented passer. He runs as well. Sometimes you have a quarterback with his size, and you can, as a defense, you can negate the fact that he can put pressure on you as a runner. But you see him sometimes take off. So that's something that I think as a defense, as a defensive team, as a staff, we have to make sure that we always account for his ability to be able to run with the football. But then when you look at their attack, he passes the ball, but then they also really make efforts to allow him to carry the ball. They have design runs for him, so he presents a challenge in that way. But like I said, he's also a really good passer. So he does not run it as well as some of the quarterbacks we've faced, but he definitely, even at 6'7", has the ability to be able to take it down the field as a runner.
There was one play you guys did where you had 2 guys go in from the outside, and both of them came in untouched. Is that something you called, did you know what they were going to do there? Or?
Yeah, we call that the cupcake blitz. I'm just joking. No, we normally an offense will slide the protection to the left or to the right to be able to block one of those guys. And I think what happened is that our linebacker did a good job of, all night long, he did a good job of disguising, I'm coming, no I'm not, yes I am, no I'm not. Well, there's another time where he walks up and maybe the offensive lineman, thinks that he's not going to come. Well, he ends up coming, as well as the linebacker to the opposite side of the formation. So that's how it ends up, where they don't slide properly. Somebody there's miscommunication in there somewhere, and it allows us, to be able to come free with two guys. Well, in a way, that's not a good thing because we sandwiched him right in between us both.
Does their offensive line resemble a line that you've seen earlier? Memphis's, I mean, do they resemble a line that you've seen earlier this year?
Well, they are really athletic. They move a lot, kind of like the East Carolina line we faced. They move him around in the pocket. Lynch is what him, and then like I said, the fact that they're really athletic and they move well, it presents a challenge because now, if with your front, if you move a lot, now you can almost outthink yourself. And so we have to really watch that. And then our defensive line, they will watch film and understand that these guys are athletic. They do a great job of getting out in space, getting the edge. They'll attack. Memphis will attack you with a lot of perimeter plays. So, they use the offensive linemen and formations to be able to out-leverage you, outnumber you. If you don't react to pullers, right, you have a guy who's slow on the reaction to the puller. Now, they got an offensive lineman out on a defensive back, an offensive lineman out on our star position. So we have to do a good job with our front as well as our linebackers of reacting to the movement of their offensive linemen so as to not allow us to be out leveraged time and time again. They also do a good job, like some teams we've faced this season, of cut blocking, and they cut block guys. Yeah, I don't like it either, but they do a great job of getting to the edge, and while the defender is running to try to maintain his leverage, then they'll drop and cut you. So those are things that our guys will have to show them, not as much as the opponent Navy, but they'll have to definitely be shown that.
Will your defense benefit from having seen Navy a couple weeks ago doing the same things?
Well, I think so, because like I said, when we were preparing for Navy, is that they do some things which are really different than any that you'll face, but then some of the other things that, like the cut block, and some of the other things that you'll face, you'll see time and time again, like these guys, and in their attack, you'll see some speed option. You'll see some three backs in the backfield and triple option looking, plays. So those things in football today, trying to get guys to the edge, trying to make sure that your assignment sound, trying to read and pitch off people, those are things that I think they stay in football. And so even though Navy does it entirely, there are a lot of teams that use, that will use components of those things.
You've played a lot of really good defenses this year. Is Navy's the toughest matchup-wise for you this season?
From a defensive standpoint, yes. They just because you don't face what they present, as an entire offensive attack. You don't face that as much. You don't face the formations that they show you. You don't have to be play in and play out. Assignments sound the same way. You don't have to have a guy responsible for the quarterback, the dive, the pitch, every single play. And then from the physical standpoint of cut blocking, of sometimes going hurry, of it's just like a hammer just tapping over and over, and so you don't face that. You don't face that throughout the season. But like I said earlier, you face components of it. You face people that will run the option and get the ball to the edge. You face people who will stack the box and put three running backs into the box. So you have to garner that information, that learning that you got from Navy, and be able to use it in the continuing weeks.
Their tight end is on award watch lists. How many different ways do they use him, and what are the biggest challenges he presents for you?
Well, he's just like some of the others we faced, and even some of the other offenses that we faced, in terms of they'll put him on line of scrimmage with his hand in the dirt. They'll split him out wide. They'll put him into the backfield. And all of those places that you align that guy, because as a defensive play caller, you get information from the box that it is 21 personnel. Well, 21 personnel looks different than 11 personnel, and it's 10 personnel. Well, 10 looks different than 21. Well, then if you have a guy who can kind of play in all those different roles in all those different places, you can't say that it's going to be 21 personnel by a person who runs onto the field. You don't know until you get out there. You don't know until they align. So you have to make a call that would fit 21 personnel, or that would fit 11 personnel, or that could fit 10 personnel. And you just can't get specific because you just don't know until they align. And there's some defensive coaches who say, well, you know what, I'm going to let them align, and then I'm going to make the call for my defense. Well, if they go fast, you can't do that. And this is what Memphis sometimes challenges you with, is the up-tempo.
What's the hardest part of the Memphis offense to simulate in practice?
Well, I think the fact that they really stretch you to the edge. You know, they run plays that get you to the edge. We have some guys who crochet, and some of our scout team guys who can, but they have quite a few receivers. They have a really good group of receivers, so you take Crochet and you put him as an edge runner. Well, now you don't have the challenge of the good receiver outside, you know, and their quarterback is 6'7", and Crochet is probably 4'7", so it's a little bit different there. But I'd say the fact that they have really good edge guys in the run game, and they have good receivers, and you know, just being able to spread your scout team thin is really hard to do.